Citizens of Orem, thank you for taking a moment out of your busy day to watch this. My name is Tom Macdonald. I'm married to the former Kay Mangum. We were high school sweethearts at Orem High School. I've lived in Orem since I was in junior high school. Shortly after my mission, I was able to convince Kay to marry me, and together we raised our 4 children here in Orem and have made Orem our home ever since. Our 4 children are now grown, married with grandchildren, or children of their own, grandchildren of ours. And we love making our life here. The question of what qualifies one to be a city council person is probably quite broad. I've held senior executive positions in business, in volunteer organizations, and I've been on the city council. But I'm not sure any of those really qualify me to be your city councilman. I think the things that qualify me to be a city councilman is I'm a person who listens. I can disagree without being disagreeable. I can listen to both sides of the issue and make a decision of what's best for you and for me. But I don't think about the next election. I think about what's right for Orem now and for future generations. If you agree with me, I hope you'll cast another vote for me as Tom Macdonald for City Council. You know, when I first ran, I thought I could clearly delineate what my priorities as city councilman would be. At that point, Midtown was a mess that was not completed. Utopia was a financial burden to the citizens, and our debt structure in the city was out of line, in my opinion. As a fiscal conservative, we dove in and we did exactly what we needed to. We reduced debt. We made Utopia stand on its own and yet still allow high fiber network to be available to almost all citizens of Orem. And of course, Midtown has been properly handled in the hands of the private enterprise and has grown and done what we needed to do. Perhaps you, like me, have eaten breakfast there at one of the famous restaurants or dinner at one of the others. But now I know priorities are much broader than that. We need to be able to think about what's always right. And so the measurements will come in, and there can never be one priority. Of course, transportation's an issue. Of course, housing's an issue. But so's the issue where someone has a concern that their fence might be on their property, on their neighbor's property. So's the concern when a neighbor wants to build something that another neighbor doesn't like. It's easy to say I'm for property rights, but that's always a balancing act. I'll never be as wise as Solomon of old, but I hope I will continue to listen to the citizens. And when we make mistakes, which of course we do, we'll work to correct those and listen and do what's right for everyone in Orem, or as much as we can. The biggest strength of any organization is its people. And of course, the citizens constitute who our people are. Those people are served by the people within city government, the police, the fire, and everyone else who makes sure that garbage gets picked up and streets are clean and that we're protected and snow's removed. How do we build upon them? Well, I think we continue to listen to our citizens. I think I've made a habit of doing that in my term on the council and in my life in general. So I think you build upon the strength by recognizing who your strengths are, your neighbors and friends, and listening to them. And then building upon their great ideas and measuring those ideas among others to try to bring forth effective government for all. You know, the biggest issue of any successful area is growth, whether that's business, of growing a business successfully, whether that's your family as they grow and try to grow those successfully, but also how to grow Orem successfully. Those are issues of concern. So with those come transportation and parking and housing and where we should do it. Some years ago, our staff led an initiative of talking to the citizens about a State Street master plan. I thought it was well thought out and would handle our long-term needs of taking apartments out of neighborhoods and putting them in a main corridor. As recently as last evening, and since I don't know when you'll watch this, that was June 29th in our city council meeting, we had discussions with neighbors, and it was obvious that our State Street master plan hadn't met their needs as it affects their neighborhood and their homes and their livelihood. So we're making changes to it. I think any master plan or any grand idea needs to be reworked. They say a game plan never survives past the opening kickoff. And perhaps in government, we also need to do those things, to listen, to tweak, and then make sure we have growth that's appropriate, bring in businesses that will employ our people, our children and grandchildren, and make Orem a great place to live as it has been for you and me. First of all, thank you for still listening. This is my 5th mini video on 5 different subjects. And thank you for having the interest to listen and make an informed decision on who you'd vote for. Of course, I hope to earn one of those votes. I think my experience as an assistant dean at the business school at Utah Valley University, my experience in volunteer organizations, my experience as a CEO, a CFO of organizations here, and probably my most important role as a father and a husband have prepared me to think well about what's right for Orem. I imagine there's not a single citizen that I've agreed with on every issue. And when it comes time for you to vote, I hope you'll remember the 85 or 95% of the things that we've agreed on, and not the 10% of things that we haven't agreed on. We will constantly improve our city. We will constantly recalibrate what we need to do to make Orem a great place to live. And I will listen, and I will try to make Orem a great place to live for you and for my family and my friends and family who live here. My name is Tom Macdonald. I'm running for Orem City Council, and I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.